Hello, everyone. It's a Jarek Brian show. It's a very special episode. We have CryptoManimal, Ahmed, and Cynthia on the Rug Files. And guys, happy you all are here. And Cynthia, how are you doing?
I am good. Good, good, good. It's a good time to be hanging out with some friends. We've had a warm up and I'm ready to just dive into, I don't know, what are we going to call it? Carnage.
Ahmed, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing amazing. I'm very glad that we're doing a show like this. I think it's much needed, much educational needed out here in this space is to educate the masses on what to look out for. So, congratulations on doing this, sir.
No, thank you guys for coming on. And CryptoManimal, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic, my brother. Super excited to be here with you guys. Obviously, Ahmed, Cynthia, I love you guys to death. I think that it is much needed. I think that we need to be able to discuss these types of things so that we can protect the communities that we're trying to build, these foundations we're trying to lay out for this ecosystem. And I think it's great to learn from our mistakes. We've all made them, and I think it's going to be really good to be able to air those out and to be able to talk about how we can hopefully catch some of the red flags that pop up, and that we can protect ourselves and our communities from bad actors.
That's great. And before we begin, right, let's go ahead and dive in. Like a small little introduction, right, on each and every single one of you. So, CryptoManimal, like, where are you from? And how are you? What's your role kind of like in the Polygon NFT ecosystem?
Yeah, so I am from the States. I'm from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Let's go. And I am partnered with the man down below me here, Ahmed. We work for or we are the Troglodyte Society partners, if you will. Him and his wife, Shay K, myself. And we've been out here since November 2021. So we've lived through a lot of bad actors, rugs, failed projects, all the things that have happened out in this ecosystem. We've been through it. So, we're excited to be able to come in and share our wisdom, if you will, share our missteps, things we missed in the past. And yeah, that's basically where I'm from, the Troglodyte Society with my boy Ahmed down
And Ahmed, buddy, can kind of give the audience a little bit about you, a short intro about you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Ahmed. I'm from West Africa, Sierra Leone originally, immigrated to the UK because of a civil war that happened in my country. I've lived in the UK ever since, obviously traveled back and forth. And yeah, I'm one of the founders of Troglodyte Society. Known Cynthia and Manimal for 2 years plus now. We've been out in this ecosystem, and I think Cynthia was the one who corrected me when we were talking about projects that's been around and gone, and people we've seen, unfortunately, friends have gone. I think it was like up to 95% at the moment when we done our maths. Unfortunately, so 95% of the people we came up with in the ecosystem, unfortunately, are no longer here for one reason or the other.
R.I.P. And Cynthia, kind of tell the audience about what exactly you do and your background, like a short intro.
All right, so I am technically an artist, but I'm also a little bit of a shit stirrer. I don't know. I'm just here to have a good time and also help educate people because my goodness, people are far too gullible. They like to think that things are better than they are. And we're just here to, make sure that people stay on their toes and don't trust blindly on just the hype.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, and I was a part of your space last time, so I liked how like like calling people out and spicy and everything like that. I love that when people do that, and we'll kind of jump right into the kind of like the first topic, right? What is the difference between a rug and also a failed project? And I will go ahead and kick this off to Ahmed. What is kind of your what do you think is the difference? Is there a difference? Is it pretty much
Yeah,
the same
there's a
thing?
difference. No, there's a difference. I think a rug is someone who hypes a project and then take the investors' money and just close up shop and just leave. And I think a failed business for me is someone who didn't plan appropriately, so they're just dependent on their mint, and they didn't think of the long-term plan, the 3 to 5 year plan of the project and how the project can bring extra income, and they'll run out of funds and they no longer can continue the project. For me, that's just a failed business. But a rug is someone who outright came to the space, brought hype, took the money, and left. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Cynthia, how about you? What do you is there a difference? Is it the same thing, or like are there going to be, is it pretty much a hey, they're kind of like one and the same? What do you think?
I mean, I agree a lot with what Ahmed said, obviously, because we've been chatting about this for an extensive
Mm.
period. But I also feel like communication in the space is so bad. Sometimes people or rug. I want to say rug like this, because they just disappear. No one knows what happened. No one knows anything. We don't know if they died. We don't know if they're just in really deep trouble. And like that's the thing. Like if you're not a rug, it would be nice to just have a little message, like explaining the situation. And then again, there are people who do that. There are people who say, unfortunately, we've had to take a step back, and then you have the people who use that as an excuse to rug.
Hmm.
So it's so difficult because we've all seen the people who've been like, oh guys, we're gonna take a mental health break, or we're going on vacation, and then the funds get drained, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, it's we've actually had someone actually recently do that. We'll bring that in the later show. But CryptoManimal, what's your kind of take on the difference between a rug and just someone kind of getting in over their head?
Yeah, I think it's nuanced, kind of like what Cynthia was saying there. Like, there could be a multitude of things. Like, and like if there's not that, like I think that's we're going to get into this, but I think that's a little bit why doxing might be a little bit important too, is because like if something happens to somebody unexpected, a car accident, they actually do pass away from something, they get super sick. How is the community going to know if there's no communication like about that, right? So I think that there could be a multitude of things, but I do highly agree with Ahmed. Like, to me, a true rug is somebody who comes in, takes money, and leaves. And that to me is a true. They're pulling that rug right out from under you. That you give hype, you mint it, and then literally nothing is done after that. The mint funds disappear. Nobody knows where it went. The socials, the discords, the everything gets deleted. And that to me is like a true, stamp it. That's a rug, right? Now we also have failed projects out there, like or a failed business, right? They, like Ahmed said, they didn't plan. They didn't have a year of sustainability or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years of sustainability planned out. They were relying just on mint funds, and we all know those mint funds dry up so fast. Like there's really not much you can do, with those mint funds. So yeah, so I mean, I think that there is a nuance to it. I think there are, certain things like people just do fail. I mean, that happens in IRL, Web two, whatever you want to call it, businesses all the time. People fail, and it's okay to fail. But you got to be honest. You got to say, hey, I failed, and take
Yeah.
that, and just and be genuine about it. Let people know, hey, I failed, and I failed you, and I want to do better. I'm going to try to do better, but this is what's happened. And if they can't find if they can't give it to the community to keep going, or if they, can't find someone else to acquire it, there's so many things that go into it. But yeah, I do think that there's definitely a distinction between the two.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think.
go ahead, man. Actually, I want to
I,
hear your take on that. Go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say to add a third one to it, the slow rug.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
ooh,
Ooh, the
yeah.
slow burn.
the slow burn. Actually, I want to get into that here in a little bit, and kind of like this question is for like Cynthia. So when somebody, my kind of thing with when people with mental health, right? I'm a big advocate for mental health, right? But I feel like, and you can definitely tell me I'm wrong or anything like that. That people are going to use that as a crutch because they want to be able to come back whenever the market turns green again. And I feel
Mm.
like some people are kind of doing that. And I'm gonna call like some people out on this. So like some guy named Teddy kind of using that, but was fine. Kind of doing his thing, but all of a sudden, when things just got too much, just said, "Hey, mental health, I'm out." And I've seen other people use that. You think that's insensitive for me to say something like that? Or I don't know, what's kind of your take on someone using kind of like mental health? And should they be allowed
So
back?
I look, the thing is I feel like a lot of projects stretch themselves too thinly. They only have one representative, and if something happens to that person, the project is dead. And this is something that I think a lot of investors need to start looking at. Make sure that you're buying into a project that has a solid foundation of people in case of something happening to the one main person, that there's someone who can back you up. There's someone there to help pitch in. And up until this point, there's been too many projects that's been run by a single person. And those, as you were saying, if there is a mental health problem, like obviously they can't deal with it on their own. It's too much and it's understandable. But at the same time, if you know that you're going to have struggles, why wouldn't you onboard someone onto your project? Like, no one can do this on their own. It's impossible. Like, people underestimate the work that goes into keeping a project alive past the 6-month mark.
Yeah, and I will ask this next question for Ahmed too. Like, since you're a founder and everything like that, do you have people in place to take over if anything were to happen to you?
100%. We've got Manimal. We've got the Mad Booker.
Mhm.
We've got Jared, Crypto Papa. Crypto Papa. To be honest with you, I even got Cynthia, if need be. And that's on a serious note. Cynthia has been part of this from day one. I know Cynthia don't like titles, so she's there, but she's not there. But she's there. I got
Commitment
my wife.
issues.
Yeah. I didn't say that.
Leave me in the shadows so I can do my shit.
Yeah.
Yes, leave her in the shadows so she can speak her mind.
But the way we've done it and the way we put it out, and this is why we're fully transparent in what we do. This is why we show people our roadmap. We tell people everything for what's to come and what we're doing. It's about being fully transparent and open. But we specifically put people in places to do things. As you've noticed, and I think people have really noticed, I've taken a step back on Web3 quite a lot. That's why you guys see Manimal everywhere. I'm still here. I'm still doing spaces 5 days a week. But Manimal's taking the reign. He leads everything Web3. I'm leading Web2. Cynthia's helping me in the back. My wife's helping me. Mad Booker's in the Discord, hammering people away, like doing his thing in there. Metacarpus doing his rhyming and rhythm in the Discord and doing his games in there. Like, so many people are still supporting us. But it's about building that infrastructure. I think what people need to look at is look at it as a business. Stop looking at it as a project. Project has expiration date. I keep telling people this. Google the word project, what it means. It's got an expiration date. You're a business. So run your business like a business. Stop running it like a project, because that you're telling people we expire a certain date. I think it's like 3 to 5 years, and then you expire. But as a business, it will continue. So that's how people have to look at it. So when you're investing in businesses, make sure you're either investing in a project or a business, but just know a project has an expiration date and the business keeps going.
I love that answer, and we'll definitely get back to actually the business part of, like, NFT projects. Should they be ran like a business? Should they not? But I want to go back to the slow rug here before we lose it. CryptoManimal, what's kind of your take, or can you kind of tell everybody what a slow rug is?
Yeah, so what I've noticed in like a slow rug project is they continually push, they continually do things that basically almost like a social engineering type thing, where they're literally going into every space, they're introducing themselves, they're making partnerships, they're doing this, doing that, and then you start to see it starts to fade off a little bit, it starts to keep fading, and then all of a sudden it's I'm no longer here. We're not doing this anymore. I'm giving the project to the community. I'm washing my hands of this. Elegant Elephants is what pops into my head as a slow rug. I don't know if you guys remember that original project, the original person behind it that did that. That was before your time, I think, Jarek.
Yeah.
But it was definitely something that like we were doing, like cool things. Like there was they were even updating things that were coming out, and then all of a sudden it was just like, we're done. We're giving this to the community, and we're out. And it was wild. I mean, obviously they took funds that they had still had, so that right there constitutes the rug portion of it. They didn't run out of funds. It wasn't that they ran out of money, and they didn't give that money. They didn't give that treasury money to the people that took it over either. They basically made them start from scratch. Gave them the wallets, gave them the socials. So they didn't completely rug out on like the social aspect of everything, right? But they just took their money, drained it out of the treasury, and left. right? And said, here, the community's taking this over. And so for me, that's kind of like that slow rug process. For me too, back on like kind of what we were talking about just before, like, we mentioned Teddy, right, from Brozos. And, for me, I didn't realize that Donnie wasn't a founder, right?
Mm.
Like Donnie was the one in Spaces. Donnie was the one pushing that project. And I did not realize that Donnie wasn't actually a co-founder of that project. So I think there needs to be a little bit more honesty and forthrightness from people who are that are on a team that are just a specific job title, right? Like, hey, I'm the community manager. I'm not a founder. I'm the community manager. I do Spaces. I do this. I do that. I'm a mod. Whatever it is you do, but it's got to be known to the community. Like, hey, like and that right there, like whenever I see just those people doing those things and I don't see the founders in Spaces, that right there to me kind of can constitute a red flag as well, because I'm like, well, why is it? And I get it, like not everyone does Spaces, not everyone's comfortable doing Spaces, right? But I think that if you're going to be a founder in Web3, especially in this time of Web3, you have to make yourself visible. You have to be visible to the community. You have to be out there. You have to be trying to make yourself, part of that front face. Because then we see things like this, like with Donnie. Like I literally, when I saw that tweet from Donnie saying, like, I'm just a community manager. I haven't been paid. Like I have to step away from this project. You know what I mean? Like I haven't even heard from Teddy, like myself, in a long time. Like, and that's like right there. Like that was like a shock to me personally, because I was like, man, I didn't do. And first off, I didn't do my own due diligence, right? I just assumed. And that's on me as an investor and as a collector, as a person out here in this space. I have to make sure that I'm doing my due diligence. I should have dug a little deeper. I should have known that Donnie wasn't a founder. He doesn't necessarily shouldn't have to tell me that. I want them to. I want everyone to be as transparent as they possibly can with their roles within these companies. But they need to. But we also have to make sure that we're doing our due diligence. And we're paying attention, especially if you're going to be putting your money into something, your hard-earned dollars and pounds, if you're or stones or whatever you guys use over there in Europe. I'm not sure what currency you have, but
No, yeah, no, it was definitely weird, that situation. I sometimes when I try to talk to Teddy, it was very like just wasn't, it was very one worded. It was very weird. I even originally tried to interview Teddy, but it was basically I was told hey, it was more of Donnie does kind of like the talking for the whole kind of like project and the whole company. And Cynthia, is that something that you would like, as an investor, to see, the founder like out and about and be the front facing and be talking on Spaces? Or is it okay for him to kind of delegate all that to somebody and he kind of be kind of just in the shadows, kind of watching? Or is that, I don't know, does that kind of rub you the wrong way? Is that a flag to you? What's your take on it?
I mean, if you're a founder, I feel like people expect, especially like obviously this is a very Web3 mentality that we expect founders to be prominent figures. Because if you look at Web2 companies or any traditional company, you barely know who the founders are. You know the name of what it is, but you don't necessarily know who's actually behind it. You just know that there's marketing. So this is the thing. I think in the future, we are going to be moving away from this mentality, though, because as we've been talking, things are becoming more, I don't want to call them Web 2, but they are being run more like businesses to be proven to be more legitimate. And people are registering their companies and people are getting more on top of things because they have to, because there is regulation coming into place. But for now, I think what appeals to a lot of people is the social aspect of the projects. There's so many people that buy into projects because they want to be part of a community. And if they have got good community managers, that's what gets a lot of people. So I don't think that it's a red flag for me personally. If the founder is not a very prominent figure, it's always nice seeing them being active in the community, but I don't think that they have to be the most prominent figure.
Okay. All right. And Ahmed, how do you feel about that?
I agree with Cynthia. I think sometimes some of the founders kind of will kill the project because they're not very well spoken, or they might no. Let's, let's be honest. Like, maybe they can't speak about the project better than someone else. You got Manimal, who speaks for England and America and every other country out here, and he just goes and he doesn't stop, and I have to keep muting. But he's very well spoken. He articulates his word very well. I'd rather have someone like that represent the project than someone who can't speak just as well. So I'll try and be politically correct. So sometimes I think they do need to be out in the community. People do need to know who they are. People still need to see who they are. And they have to be active, but not more so about talking about the project if they can't. But just be active and let your community manager deal with that side of things. But there's spaces out here that people just hang out. It's chill spaces. Get to vibe with people. Get to know people. Let people know who you are. So
That's where I was going to go with it too, Ahmed. Right then, that was kind of going to be my when you were talking about it, to kind of that to me was like where I was kind of going with that is like not necessarily like a founder has to do their community space where they are talking about their project or going to spaces where they're pitching their project because like you said, they might not be good at that, and they have someone that can do that, right? They can send out to do interviews with Jarek on YouTube, or do a space that is specifically meant for shilling, right, or pitching, or whatever you want to call it. But those more of those community hangouts, those spaces where all people can come in and just chill and talk. That's where I want to see the founders personally, as an investor, as a collector out here in the space. Like that's where I want to be able to get to know you, like Base Buddha, like Ears Gang and Rotten Banana. Like I've started to see like more and more of like that. Right now, that's what I want to see. I want to see the founders mingling with the rest of us out here in the space, whether it be collectors, other founders, other businesses, whatever it is. But I just want to see them a little bit, and that's just me wanting Web3 to be better than Web2, right? Like I want to know who's behind the thing I'm buying. I want to know who's behind the thing that I'm putting my money into. Whereas, with, maybe there's some things out here in Web2, I already know that I buy products that I probably shouldn't buy because the way that the company itself might be ran, right? And certain things like that. So I think it does give a little bit more of a legitimacy to what you're trying to do out here in Web3 when you're visible to your people. And that's a part of the reason I like Web3 and I like the decentralized and whatever these aspects that we're bringing in. We're trying to, I think we should definitely take Web2 principles that work, and bring but also have some new principles for Web3 as well.
See, I told you he speaks for England and America. I was looking for the mute button.
Yeah, no mute button for you, fool. Get out of here. He's always trying to mute me when I'm co-hosting, Jared. He can't do it though because I'm co-hosting. He loves when I'm just a speaker, so he can just
mute
wrap that mute button on me.
So I definitely do want to talk about this topic too, as well, in a sense of like people have said like, well, back then in kind of this last kind of bull run that happened, right, and people were trying to, position things and kind of like do certain things with the project, right, and people were saying like, hey, you can't run an NFT project like a business, right? That was the thing that was said back then, right? This is Web3. And, that was kind of the sentiment back then. But now, as people see that some of the projects have died, and Ahmed, I'm going to kick this question to you. Should your Web3 business be ran like an actual like business, not just like you said, like a project? Like, what's your kind of take on that?
So let me just ask you a question. Those people who are saying it shouldn't be run like a business and you shouldn't do
This is Web3.
Yeah. Where are they now?
Not here.
Okay. If I'm trying to scam you, what am I going to tell you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah. Why would you not run it like a business? Would you go invest your money? Because what people have to realize, people are investing their hard-earned money. Some people really go in. People are spending thousands in some of these projects. So why are you spending thousands? Essentially, it's gambling, right? What we're doing right now, because there's no regulations, there's no nothing. You're hoping it goes up. It's gambling. So why would you not do your research before you bet on that horse? Why would you not? Has that rush? Has that horse? What's the trainer like? What's the rider like? Pertaining to it being a business. Are you registered? Are you doxed? Is your team in place if something happened to that person? What's your long-term goal? Are you going to be using your mint money to continue the project? Do you have other source of revenues coming in for that project or business? Are you just depending on just the Web3? Are you thinking of branching out to Web2 as well? Whether it's plushies like
Pudgies.
or whatever it is, to bring extra income to your business. I don't know, maybe it's just my brain, but that's when I'm looking at a project, those are the things I look for. What's your goal? What's your plan? And then the most important for me, if I vibe with that founder, if I feel like that founder is legitimate and they're here for the right reasons and not just to fud their bag.
Yeah, no, man, no, it's all. I definitely agree with that, because it was kind of like the thing that everybody said, like, no, this is DeFi, this is like, this is Web3. Like, no, we're not going to run it like traditional. We're trying to get away from traditional finance and yada yada yada. And it was just like, okay, now those people aren't here anymore, most of them. And it's like, okay, well, like for instance, like with D Gods, right? Like before the FTX crash, they had most of their like funds kind of like in Sol, and then when Sol like kind of course tank after the whole FTS thing, like he wished he would have converted it to actual USD. So that was very interesting. But Cynthia, do you kind of agree with that same sentiment, or do you want like the wild kind of West and kind of everybody does their own thing?
Cynthia loves chaos, so
Yeah.
let's be careful.
The thing is, like, this is why you need to do your research, because there's always going to be the projects that come out and 10, 20, 30x with just after mint. And sure, you can use people as exit liquidity. Do that if you want to. Like, I'm not going to tell anyone to not do that, because at the end of the day, a lot of people are here to have fun. And having fun is a lot of gambling for a lot of people. You got to keep in mind that most of the people that are in this space are the ones that used to play on stocks. They used to, like, they are degens. Like, there's no other word for it. And then you have the little sprinkle of people who genuinely do their research and want to support good people and companies that are going to be here doing good, because we're part of a beautiful thing. But a lot of people just don't care about what's in the background. They just want a JPEG that's gonna flip for 10, 20x and
Number
be
go
happy
up.
with it.
Number go up. Line go
When
up.
moon.
Or price go up.
Lambo.
Yeah.
Lambo.
But
Win Lambo.
I think
Win
we need to
moon.
have the freedom, because if we don't have the freedom in this space, it's going to be terribly boring. I think that is the excitement of coming into NFTs. It's like, ooh, am I gonna 10x? Am I gonna get rugged? I don't know.
Yeah.
And see, this is what I've been saying, Jarek. Like, so this is what I've been trying to say, like a lot in spaces too. Now is look at yourself. What are you in this space? What do you want to be in this space? Do you want to be a trader? Do you want to be a gambler? Right? Do you want to be a degen? Do you want to be an investor? What is it that you're wanting to do out here, like with your money, with your funds, with your purchases? Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Do you,
Don't
if you
taint your
want to
wallet.
be right, if you want to be a trader out here and you want to flip and you want to be a DJ and you want to chase the next 10x, 20x, 30x, and that's what you want to do, come out and do it, baby. Let's go. Like, come out and be that DJ and self, be you, get wrecked. I love it. I love watching people get wrecked. I love it, right? I get wrecked. We've all been wrecked, right? We've all had losses, big L's, right? That we've chased things that, we've done that. We've chased the dragon, if you will. That South Park episode, right? We're chasing the dragon.
Let's keep it inclusive and let everyone have a place here. That's the thing. Why not?
Right. And I think I do like I got into crypto itself for decentralization, right?
Yeah.
For the being my own keeper of my money, being my own custodian of myself, right? And so having my own digital way of having my money just for me, right? And nobody else can touch it. No third party needed. I can P2P. I can send as much Matic as I want to Ahmed right now. I can send it to you. I can send it to Cynthia. Nobody has to be an intermediary between that. Nobody has to take a cut of that. If I'm sending funds to Sierra Leone, through the blockchain, like Sierra Leone government doesn't need to be able to take my money. Western Union doesn't need to be able to take my money. No, that's my whole purpose for being here was decentralization, right? The NFTs and all these different awesome fun things came into play with this, right? Like, I mean, DeFi farming on Polygon was cheap, baby. Like, I loved it. I missed DeFi summer on Ethereum because I was never an Ethereum well. I didn't have that kind of money to pay
Yeah.
gas fees on Ethereum. But once Polygon blockchain, or well, it was Matic back then, but once that stuff started launching, I was like, oh wow, I can play around with this technology, right? And same thing with NFTs. When NFTs came to Polygon, I was like, man, I can play around out here in this ecosystem. But now that I've grown in this ecosystem, I look at myself as like, what do I want to be? Yeah, sure, I'll do some flips here and there. Maybe I'll try to, chase a little profit. But at the same time, I really look at investment, and I'm looking at the projects that I want to truly think that are going to be companies that will be here, brands, businesses that will be here for a long time. Like, and if you're looking at it from an investor mindset, you have to zoom out, right? You can't be so focused on oh, I'm just going to make a quick buck, right? So you have to look at yourself. What do you want to be out here as an individual? You can be a mixture of both. You can try to chase some hype and make some plays, right? You can pick some things you want to go heavy into that you believe will be here for a long time. You don't have to pick and choose which side you want to be on, but I do believe we need the freedom, and that we do need the degens in the space, right? We all talk about it. We need volume. We need flippers. Like
Yeah.
they are an integral part to this ecosystem.
Yeah, no, and it's very different. I don't know. As the space evolves, it's going to be very kind of different to see like how like very interesting how we go, right, and how things are going to change. And yeah, I'm very like even this time next year, I think we're going to be in a lot better place, and it's going to be very interesting. And kind of Ahmed, right, as we're talking about like kind of like wallets, right, and like running it like a business. Like, do you believe, right? Because we had an issue with this on another project, right? Like the kind of like treasury funds, mint funds, or whatever the case may be, wasn't like public. It all got transferred to an account and everything like that, and basically no one knew what was being kind of spent and everything like that. Do you think, as someone that runs a business, is it your investors like business to actually see all that go down? Because like I said, you're running a business, you may see some things that the company needs that that we don't know, right? But we start seeing these little transactions and we say, hey, Ahmed, like, why are you doing this, why are you doing that? Like, do you think that we need to know that?
Of course you do. You need to. When you pay your taxes, does a taxman ask for every single receipt? They want to see every single receipt, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did your business spend on?
Yeah.
Where did that money go? What did you use it for? They'll ask every single thing. So why should it be any different? Even if I'm going to go buy bubblegum or chocolate, you need to account for that receipt. You can't just use. That's people's funds. That's the business funds you're spending. So you have to account for that. 100%. Everything needs to be accounted for. I thought that was the whole point of blockchain, so you can track everything.
Yeah. CryptoManimal,
Yeah,
what
I
do you
think
think?
transparency. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, CryptoManimal, what do you think?
Oh, did you say Manimal? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think so too. Like, I mean, I think being fully transparent is the whole reason like that we're here, right? Like, I mean, like the reason that, especially for us, and I mean for Ahmed and myself with Troglodytes, like, I mean, what, like, we have to be fully transparent. We're trying to flip NGOs and charities on their head, right? So we need you guys. We want you guys to see every single thing. We want to live stream 24/7 from that center. We want you to see every child that comes through that center, that grows up in that center, that then what they do after that center, right? Like, where do they go? Do they go into the workforce? Do they start coding? Do they start learning how to make their own? Do they launch their own NFT business? Do they launch their own crypto project? Like, we want people to be able to see that kind of stuff, right? We want our funds, like, we're going to be on we have an endowment with Better Giving, right? Like, that is public on the blockchain where you're going to see these funds, right? And we want to tell everybody where we spend these funds. And I think for us personally, as a charity, as an NGO, like, what we're trying to do and flip that on its head, like, yes, we have to be as transparent as possible with the money and where the money's going and how it's being spent. Now, like, when it comes to smaller transactions, like, if that's right there, but that's like, are you using the mint funds to buy paper for your business? Like, because if you are, that's an issue. Like, if you're using mint funds to buy little knickknacks, like he said, gums and chocolates, for your business, for your little party that you're having at your business, like, whatever, your little Decentraland party, you're buying little goodies, like whatever it is, right? Like, are you using mint funds for that? Because that's an issue in my opinion. So I think it does matter on what the business is.
Yeah.
Where's the business coming? Like, where are they getting their revenue? Right? Do they have other revenue streams? Right? And that's the key, I think, is having other revenue streams where you're not using that treasury fund, you're not using that mint fund, right? And even if you are bringing in more, if you're bringing in other revenue streams, you can deposit some of that money into the treasury, right? And then you use that treasury the way, like, for whether it be expansion of your product line, or expansion of your NFTs, or whatever it may be, right? That the community hopefully has an ear in, and I'm not saying you have to run it completely like a DAO, but it'd be nice, like, if you're asking your community, hey, we've gotten this much money in the treasury, like, we're thinking about doing this, like, what does the community feel like? What do you guys think we should spend this big large amount on? What should we do next? Should we spend it on more marketing? Should we spend it on this or that or whatever, right? So I think that majority of I think mint funds should be in a treasury, and I think that should be able to be seen, because the mint funds is what you got from your investors, right?
Yeah.
Now, revenue streams, I think, are different. Like, I don't think everyone necessarily has to show every single investor, like, their revenue streams. However, if you look at it in the Web2 world, right, there's earnings calls, right, with publicly traded companies. They, hey, this is how much we made. You know what I mean? That they show the investors what they've done, right? And like I said, there are some Web2 principles out here that we should use still, that work, that should be adopted. Now, I don't think that necessarily we need to, we're not publicly traded companies, right? So, I mean, there are some differences here. I don't want SEC hammering down, right? But at the same time, I think that there's some nuance to that as well. I think that, yes, I think mint funds 100% should be in a treasury wallet that can be tracked. Mint funds 100%, because that is what you took initially raised from people, right? Now, your other revenue streams, on that same note, I don't necessarily think that those necessarily need to be tracked by everyone.
Yeah, and Cynthia, as an investor, like, do you care? Do you want to know every little nuance and everything like that of the business, or what's kind of your kind of take on all that?
I mean, it's nice if people do stuff. Like, for example, a great example is Trogs. Like, Trogs, they host events and they show what's happening with the money. And then there's projects that I genuinely don't care about. like there's some projects that just go into my wallet to die. Like, I buy them because that's cute, or that sounds fun, but then I never look at it again, and they just end up not going anywhere. But I'm also not, like, I am the perfect example of someone who is made for Web3, because I do care deeply about certain things, and other things I just throw money at just in case. And see what happens. Like, maybe it goes somewhere, maybe it doesn't. It sounds fun, but that's what I believe about Web3. We need to have this freedom. It can't all be fully serious. And sometimes you'll be surprised, like Pudgy Penguins. Who thought that they were going to be this success? Like, they're just cute little JPEGs.
True.
IP, baby. Look at Cool Cats too. I mean, Cool Cats were in Macy's Day Parade, and they are coming out with an animated series. It's the IP, right, behind that. It's like,
but that's the thing. Like, sometimes you just gotta go for what you think feels all right to spend money on. Sometimes it's a cute little PFP. Sometimes it's a cool art piece, and sometimes it's just an actual charity. So, yeah, people just need to have the freedom to dabble in what they want. But I guess, like, unless the project is very specific about what they are doing for their own growth, I genuinely don't care.
Hey, I like honesty, and Ahmed, I'll kind of push back on you on this, though, because I've talked to other founders too, right, in other sectors and whatnot, and they have like a different kind of take on this, right? Because some of them have run kind of successful businesses, right, and they're kind of pushed back on this, and I kind of want to get your take on it. Is that I ran successful businesses. What makes you think you idiots can actually tell me what to do with like the money that I make here? Like, I know what it takes to take a business to the top. You know what I mean? So why do I have to sit here and tell you about every little expense that I do? You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Like, no, you wouldn't do. Do you do this with some of the companies that are out there. Does Walmart do this? Does such and such do this? Like, no, like I know what it takes, and it's none of y'all's business, and that's it. And what do you think of that as a founder in Web3? What's your take on that?
My take, first of all, Web2 businesses, you taking that to the moon, and Web3 businesses are two different businesses. First and foremost, if I'll give you a typical example, if I'm trying to eradicate where money goes in terms of, okay, I'll give you an example. So UK sent 18 million to Sierra Leone. 10 million of that 18 million went missing. Do you think that people don't have a right to ask where that money went?
They do.
This is the whole point of blockchain. If you want to question me as a founder, why should I not let you question me as a founder? Do you realize I give people my mobile number? I was talking to someone the other day to contact me. Talk to me. If you've got an issue with what we're doing or how we're running stuff, phone me and have a conversation with me. I'm not shy. We don't shy away from stuff. What we're trying to do is too big and too important for me to say, you can't question me, you can't ask me, yada, yada, yada. No, feel free to come on Twitter, to come on a phone call, Skype, Telegram, wherever, and have a conversation with you. In the UK, we can meet up, have a conversation with me. You have to be open and transparent. The whole thing we're trying to build is trust and open transparency, accountability. So why should I then stop someone asking me a question about where did I spend that money or what did I do with that money? It's your right. To me, and I know SEC hasn't come yet, but to me, anyone who holds our NFT, you're an investor. So therefore, as an investor, you have the right to ask me a question about what I'm doing with the project or what I'm doing with the money. You have all right to do that. Why should I stop you? For God's sake, we're thinking about, not even thinking, we're going to do it, where people get to come over to bloody Africa and stay up to 2 weeks with their friends and family and come and hang out with us and come and hang out with the young people and come and see the country and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to build. If I'm trying to do that, why would I try and shy away from a question about what am I doing with mint funds? You can't do that to they're your holders, they're your investors. Without them, you're nothing.
I like it. No, I like it. It's just what I've heard, right? It's just what people have kind of told me is just that, well, some founders, not a lot of founders agree with the whole, wallet, that should be all tracked and everything like that. But some, of course, are like, no, I know what it takes to run a business, and you morons couldn't, shouldn't tell me what to do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, I'm the one that's done this before, and you guys over here, you sweaty nerds.
That's you're being disrespectful. That's very disrespectful to say that.
That's a red flag to me.
that's like me going somewhere and I'm trying to spend my money, and the person's like, "Oh no, we don't want you here." I'm not gonna spend my money there if you don't want me there. I'm gonna spend my money to someone who welcomes me. So no, I don't. For me personally, I don't feel any founder has the right to tell an investor or holder anything like that. I think you should give them the opportunity to talk to you and ask if they've got questions about what's happening. Get on a call with me. We have a business number for a reason. We are a business. We've got 2 business numbers. You can call me in Africa. You can call me in UK. Contact me, baby.
Are you a clone? Are you in both places at once?
Hey, bro.
No, I'll post your number and the ticker down here so that everybody can call you. For
you realize it's on our documents that we post on Twitter. It's everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't want to call it though.
No, even our address is there.
Yeah, I don't want to call it because
we're taking people's money, bro. You have to be held accountable. You're taking people. I know, Cynthia.
So wait, so you're saying that our numbers that are posted work?
Not yours, bro.
No. I know not mine. I'm saying the business numbers on that. I'm saying the business numbers. You're saying that those actually work when you see them. You can call those numbers and they work.
I know what he's getting at. I know what he's getting at.
Manimal, you trying to just.
Sorry. Hey, I was just saying. I was just saying. I was just checking.
We'll actually.
I was just checking.
We'll actually get to that here later. So, but as far as the mint funds and everything like that, right? That's kind of what now we can't for sure know what exactly happened to Brozos. Brozos is not dead, right? Brozos is still alive. Brozos is community ran, right? And
we love Donnie. We love Donnie. Donnie's and
No, that's
they're
great.
they're making a DAO, they're making a council, they're doing the things they need to do to try to keep that project alive, and hopefully it works out. Like I mean, I've got a couple, I've got like 3 or 4, I think. I know like some other people were heavily invested,
Yeah.
and that happens, right? You have whales in every project, and so it's sad to see something like this go down. It's awesome though if the community can really pull it out from the depths and make it successful. We'll see how it goes. I mean, it's going to be a play by ear type thing. We're going to have to see, how strong they can be. Where do they pivot? What is the like? Is it still a high end fashion line project, or are we
Mhm.
switching over to something different? Like, what is it going to be now, right? And I don't know. For me, the high end fashion thing was a little. I was like, okay, well,
Mm.
that's it is what it is, right? But for me, it was a little
That's
like.
why I bought into it. Stop it.
so
It's like, oh, that sounds cool.
so it
I'll
hurt
get a few
me,
of those.
and we had a space
Typical
yesterday
girl. No, I'm just
with
kidding. I'm just kidding.
with Matic Man, because Matic Man said it actually like hurt him. It actually like really hurt him because like it really was a kind of a punch to the gut, and to me too as well. It was a kind of a punch to the gut because like I did a show with them, right? I've been in their Discord, right? I was a real kind of fan of what they're doing, and then to be kind of punched in the gut like that was kind of like, man, that really sucks, man. And definitely with Matic Man because he said he was like one of the top holders, right? And I'm pretty sure that they're going to turn it around. They're going to do something, right? But as far as like Cynthia, do you have any kind of commentary on what exactly like kind of went down? Did you kind of see it kind of coming? Like, was there any important time, or is this something that kind of caught you out of left field?
I only I only bought into the project after the rugging happened. I was like, all right, well, we'll see what happens.
She bought it when it was. She bought low. Look at that, Cynthia.
What
I'm
is
so
wrong?
proud of you. She bought low. She didn't
Because you
pile in
never
at 80
know.
Matic.
Oh hell no!
100%.
That's the thing. No. No. I like the art. I genuinely like the creatures. I
Yeah.
bought the one with the heart skin. I was like, that one speaks to me. So that's how it started.
The lonely
But
heart.
but I only bought in after all the shit went down.
I like it though. I like it. That was a
I
good
like it.
play, Cynthia.
I like it.
Oh
I
jeez.
thought that maybe you had got it from the beginning, but no, I got it because it was
No.
confirmed. It confirmed. Okay. Oh, hey, can't really fault you for
It's like
that.
buying Salon at $11 after FTX. Good job, Cynthia.
That's it. Yeah. And Manimal, did you kind of see the signs kind of come in? Did you kind of like when did
you
your
know,
kind of spider sense kind of went on?
I mean, I could say like I kind of started like questioning once, and this is something like, but once I saw Teddy, on into the advisory panel for Magic Eden's Creator Fund, right? I was like, okay, interesting. You know what? I really have never seen Teddy out and about, like never in a Broza community space, like never in, like that's one thing too. Like if you're a founder and you're not going into your own, even if you're not running it, but if you're not even going into your own community spaces, probably a red flag, right? And it was probably something that like I kind of, like you said, spidey sense, right? Like little tingles. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. It's cool. It's cool, right? But then, yeah, I mean, to me, it was more of a gut punch, I think, too. Like, I think I had a little bit of that sense that, like, something might not be right over here. Like, took a while for some things to come to fruition, just like, all these things. But yeah, it was more of a gut hit to me whenever I saw that post from Donnie saying he was leaving. And then to come, like, 2 days later, it's like, oh, no, actually, Teddy's leaving. He's giving us the keys to the kingdom. No money, but he's giving us the keys to the kingdom, right? And so, yeah, I would say it was more of a gut punch. I did have a little, like I said, little bit of that gut feeling, but nothing that like was enough for me to even say anything to Ahmed about it or anything, right? Like the people I talked to on the day to day, I didn't even really come up to me to like say anything like, oh hey, what do you think is going to happen with Brozos right now? Yeah, it was never that big. So I would say it was more of like that initial gut punch when I read that tweet from Donnie, and I was like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
interesting, So yeah, I think that was probably, it was more of that gut punch thing than anything.
How about you, Ahmed?
Aw.
Did your tingle thing go off whenever at any point in Brozos or?
His tingle thing goes off all the time, bro. He's just tingling all day long.
Bro, I'm that why guy, man. I'm that. How you gonna pay for all of this? Because I know how much high fashion costs. And yada yada.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I believe.
But no, it's not.
I believe.
You know what I love about it? I love what's happened, like how the community is taking it over, and like how they're running it. Like I'm watching the threads and I see what they're posting and stuff. It's, to me, that's absolutely amazing. He done the right thing. He gave them everything. Oh, yes, he didn't give them no money, but you know what? They can build from that. No, they can build from that. You know,
Yeah.
He's got a good reputation in the space. You know, and the people they've put in charge, they've got a good reputation in the space. So I think they can build from that. Bro, it's better than what the other guy did with Elegant Elephant. It was Elegant Elephant
Oh
Racing.
gosh. No, yeah, elegant
Not
elephants.
not
Yeah.
Racer. It's just the original Elegant Elephant.
Elegant Elephant, buy now, bro. People are freaking messaging this guy. This guy's telling us,
This is
buy
gosh.
now. Became a meme. Buy now. I'm like, what the f is wrong with this guy? What do you mean, buy now? Anyone messaged him, buy now. So rather than him handing everything over, he just basically messed with people and meme the hell out of us. Buy now. And then, so I'm glad that he done the right thing, because he didn't need to do that. He could have just been a D about it and just
Yeah.
So he
And rugged it.
he done the right thing. He gave it to the community, and the community are building very strong. So I'm happy that they're doing that, man. So yeah, it's good. We done the right thing in the end. Thank God.
Yeah, but how? And maybe you guys may have been in it longer than I have, right? Like how it is. I imagine it is very, very hard for a project to come back from being like rug to actually even like getting back to like at least where it originally was, or try to like go like higher. Like, do you think that projects can arise from those ashes and actually be legitimate again, or are they always gonna have that kind of thing kind of in the background, like, hey, just remember I was a rug, just kind of, hey guys, don't
The
forget about me.
taint.
Yeah. are they tainted?
She said the taint. She didn't say tainted. She said the taint.
Yeah, answer that question about the taint.
For fuck's sake. No, I have faith. The thing is, there's something weird about the Web3 space where things can completely flip. There's been projects that have been going to shit, and then who knows, maybe Elon will mention them.
Bruh. I think we're going in the realm of possibilities now. Like,
Who knows? There's been random stuff, okay? I mean, he mentioned Milady, and that was like, yeah.
Oh, okay, she's got a point, milady.
Yeah,
she did.
That one.
Milady was interesting.
I mean, she did say milady, but Manimal, can somebody arise from the ashes? I mean, can you name a project? Because I can't think of one that has come back from being a rug to being
where it was before.
Yeah.
What?
Simply Case project. They're better than what it was.
They haven't minted out. Like, there's 30% minted. We could edit this out. We don't need to put that in there, Jarek. Because they just got, well, like, thinking about this, like, they just got rugged again. Or whoever was helping with that, he just left. Took the Twitter. They had to redo their whole Twitter again.
Oh, that's right.
They have a whole new Twitter account. So maybe we don't have to edit this out, because we love Simply K and we love what they're trying to do there, right? Yeah. But it's like, yeah, it's hard, right? And the person that was the main, the main person that was like that put this team around together to try to de-rug it has now rugged as well. He's now left. I don't think he took any money. I don't know 100%. I don't know the details of his leaving, but I do know that he took the socials. And didn't give them the socials. They had to start from scratch again. So yeah, I do think that it's tough. I think it's real tough to take a rug project and completely wash your hands from that and and kind of get back to where you were or get even higher. Now, do I think it can be done? I'm an optimist. I do think so. I have hope. What?
The Engineer.
What about The Engineer? Blue Regions?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So,
right, yeah.
But here's the deal with that. It was not minted out yet completely. It wasn't. Yeah. So they stopped minting. They stopped minting, refunded the funds, right? And then they went and sold the project to Blue Spade. So that was way better handled, right? Because they decided after they didn't mint a certain amount in their OG or whitelist phase, they were like, okay, it doesn't look like we're going to mint out. We're going to give up. but we're going to refund everyone their money. So everyone got their money back. That minted in the first round or whatever, right? And then they went and sold the IP to somebody else, and they did. Yes, you are correct. They minted out. Blue Horizons minted out. They did a good job, but it wasn't a full on rug, right? So it wasn't a minted thing that somebody took over, like the community, like Brozos, like just using that as the example, right? They were completely minted out. Been minted out for months, had traction for months, and then the founder left, gave it to the community, right? So that's where it's a little different, I think, right? Because like Blue Rygens, like Rygens itself, did not completely mint out and then pull the rug or try to give the IP to somebody else, right? They paused it, refunded, then sold the IP, and then yes, I would say de-engineer and the team from Blue Spade and Alex from Factions, they did a fantastic job to get that minted out. 100%. I agree 100% on that. But it was a little bit of a different thing,
Yeah.
right? You know,
It was a
so
handover.
right, like they don't have to get back to anywhere because they were never anywhere. They never minted out. There was never a floor price, like, you know, so they don't have to climb that mountain to get back to where their floor was or anything like that, because now they have a new floor. They're basically a new project when you look at it from that sense, right? And like, you know, you can look at Fada that Matic Man just bought, like or acquired, right? So the community acquires Fada, right? And that's the way I would like to see things go. But you're not always going to be able to find an avenue to sell your IP to somebody, right? Like that might not be an option. But I do think with Fada, not a rug, right? Because he didn't completely leave. He sold it, right? He sold the IP. He got rid of it. So there's nuances and different things for sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Ahmed? Do you think something like that could be raised from the ashes and at least be where it once was, or even better? Or because I can't recall a project
Bro,
that actually.
I'm thinking back now. To be honest with you, I can't think of not one. They've come back.
Because we're still early.
Yeah, we're so early. We're so early. But no, I can't. I'm trying to think back to 2021. There were so many that happened to, and they tried to revive it. I don't think they ever got it back to where it was. Yeah, not one I can think of.
No.
But they got it back, but not to that high standards that people knew it for. So, yeah.
Hey, maybe Cynthia's right. Maybe we're kind of early.
Yeah. Maybe we're still waiting for that guy, for the little phoenix. Yeah. Maybe it is. We don't know.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, fingers crossed, because I bought, I bought him cheap.
Pump her bags.
Heck yeah.
So
supporting the community, guys.
Yeah. Pump Cynthia's bags. That's what we're gonna name this show now.
Oh God.
So pump my bags.
We had another issue kind of happen too, in the kind of the kind of realm as well. We had a running pops right now. We can't neither confirm or deny. He's still kind of around, I guess, right? But there is accusations, right? Because I'm not saying he did or did not, right? But there's accusations at least over 50K stolen from like projects and all those things, right? And of course, he'll get his chance to say things, and I've reached out to him and whatnot. And I don't know, man. Like that was also another thing too, as well. We had like back to back things too, as well, and kind of what it was kind of being told, right? When all that stuff was kind of like being like broke, right? It was like, hey, be quiet. It's going to make the ecosystem like look bad. Wait, like we don't know just yet, right? Because this could be horrible, especially for like Brozos at that time too, as well. I mean, they did crazy numbers, right? And then of course, then running pops, then of course, allegedly, right, stealing money from projects and whatnot. Like so, as an ecosystem, right? It like it once these things kind of come out, right, and things are kind of confirmed. Like Ahmed, like, do you think that that could be a huge blow to the whole Polygon ecosystem?
I think anytime there's a rug, a soft rug, a slow rug, a rug pull, whatever you want to call it, it's a blow to the ecosystem, because that's taking away funds that could have gone to a project that's actually trying to build something in the ecosystem, is trying to grow the ecosystem. So anytime there's any of those things that happen, it's a blow to the ecosystem. It's a blow to people's financial for their money, but it's definitely a blow to the ecosystem, because you have to remember there's not that much funds in the ecosystem right now. So to have funds that keeps getting taken away from the ecosystem, it hurts it. not just the funds part of it, the trust part of it. You know, people lose trust. You're playing with people's trust, and it's already hard enough to build trust in this ecosystem. And then for you to take that away from someone, that really does hurt people, and people do leave the space. Well, people are just trying to support others, so it affects in more than just one way. You know, yeah.
Yeah, and I get they could hurt the ecosystem, right? But things should be kind of like called out, right? Bad
Oh,
behavior should
100%.
be called out, and kind of
Yeah.
like Manimal, like what was your kind of like take on all these? We also have some other events too as well, but all these events unfolding, right? And like Matic Man, everybody, we all love this ecosystem, right? Like, what was your kind of take on what that could mean for the whole ecosystem if these things are made to be true?
Yeah, I mean, I think I like Big Neil. I think said it best the other day in the space, right? He said yesterday, actually, he said, Polygon's a small town compared to like we're Syracuse compared to New York City. When you look at it like from the ETH standpoint, this stuff happens constantly on Ethereum, and it's so big that nobody cares. Nobody like except for the people that actually get burnt in that, like right, but nobody cares. It doesn't spread to everyone the way it spreads here because we have that close knit small town feel where we're all collabing together. We're all working on, not all, but the majority of us founders are trying to work together and trying to be friendly with each other and trying to cross collaborate with each other. And so when something like this, like when you get rec dogs and space skellies and you get all these people involved in something like a game, you get their communities involved. You bring their people from their communities into something where they're spending Matic, right, to get a higher score in a game. Where's that Matic? And I know a lot of people spend a lot of Matic. So like to me, yeah, it hurts the whole ecosystem as a whole. The trust. And yeah, the financials behind it, right? But yeah, it does hurt the ecosystem, but we shouldn't keep our mouth shut when things are going awry. 100%. We should not like we have to tell people when we see these things. These things need to be told, right? We have to protect our communities and the larger Polygon community as a whole because we are so small, right? And when something big like this hits, it really does affect us as a whole because we're majority of us are invested in the same projects. A majority of us are invested in all of these things together, and we use cross community pollination to help ourselves expand our reach and expand our holder base, if you will, our investors, right? We use these collaboration efforts to try to expand this, and so when somebody comes in and takes advantage of communities, it's definitely going to affect that trust level, and it really is going to affect us moving forward. But it's all about how we come out of it, right? Like, how do we come out of this stronger, or do we take the hit on the face and just lay on the ground and get in the fetal position? What do we do, right? And I think the community as a whole is taking the punch in the face, getting smarter, getting wiser. We are running
Are
businesses,
they
right?
though?
Everything should I think founder wise, I hope. Okay, once again, I'm optimistic, Cynthia. So I
All right,
hope
fine.
that we take these. It's too early to tell, right? It's too early to tell if this is going to change anything or if we're going to all fall victim to this again, right? Because that's why we're doing this show, right? That's why we're talking about it. That's why we're airing these things out, is to hopefully give people the education that they need, to the understanding that they need to look for the red flags, to look for this. And some, like Ahmed will tell you, if someone comes in slanging money, like that they've got all this money and they're going to give away bitcoins and they're going to give away $20,000, it's probably a fucking red flag. Like, where's the money? How do you have all this money to come in and just throw at communities, right? Are you hoping to make that back? Are you running a Ponzi? Like, are you hoping that you make that back through your mint that you ended up having not doing? you know and so like I think they were, like Ahmed said, I think they were trying to fake it till they make it. I think they were trying to get to mint so they could mint out and then use those mint funds to then pay projects so that they could continue to run their Ponzi scheme. And that's what it was. And so and not to mention that they were literally taking funds from projects to build games that they weren't building. You know what I mean? This was a big, like, this is more than a rug. I think it was a rug in the sense that they had a game where they were taking Matic purchases I want to know where all that Matic is that people bought for their shields and their upgrades and all these things, right? I want to know where that Matic's at first and foremost. And then I want, were they using that Matic to pay people for certain things? Like, what were they doing with that Matic? And then on top of that, they luckily, I think luckily, it got out there in time to where Magic Eden had to just sever that mint and not let them mint. Because if they would have minted and minted out, I think we might still be running. They might actually still be running this Ponzi, and it would have been way worse down the line. But I think anytime something like this is known and somebody tells you not to say something about it to the public, who's telling you not to say something to the public, and what are their intentions? What are their reasons behind you not saying? And so, and you know, take that for what you will, because I know that Jarek and I know, you know, who was saying these things, and I just think that you got to look at it like from their point of view. Yeah, that's fine, but you're not going to tell me that I can't tell my community when I think there's a bad actor. You're not going to be able. Yeah, like I'm not just. I'm looking out for the community as a whole. I'm not looking out for a specific business, a specific person. I'm looking out for everyone as a whole, and that's what I want people to take from this, is that you should say it if you have what you believe is enough proof to say, hey, there's something going on here that's not right. It needs to be said. You need to protect yourselves and your communities 100% of the time.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Cynthia, like, you know, should we, like, you know, speak up, or should we just lay there in the fetal position, like you said, and just kind of like lay there just for the good of the ecosystem, right? As somebody that's kind of like in the shadows, that kind of likes this chaos, like, what is your kind of take on all this?
I mean, Polygon is such a nice place. It is so easy for people to come in and take advantage of the community. It's literally stealing candy from a kid, from a baby. Like, there's, and you know who they target. They target the prominent projects, the ones that are hype, because it's easy. You know, they have the trust. And like, there's at this point, I feel like there's a step-by-step playbook for a lot of hype rugs that come into the space. But I mean, at some point, I don't know, like, do you let the kid learn by touching the hot stove, or do you actually warn people? I genuinely don't know.
Can you tell us that step by
this
step?
is life. There's so many steps, and they're okay. Like,
would one be, for example, working with this project, or the best one? I'm partnering up with Matic Man. They love Matic Man's name, and because they know everyone's like, oh wait, you're with Matic Man. Oh wow, let's jump on that.
What a wholesome.
I know.
Yeah.
He is. He bless him. He's the nicest person around, and that's the thing. Polygon is nice. Every ETH person I've come across says the same thing. Like, wow, Polygon is so nice. Why are everyone so nice? It's because
100%.
we're a bit of a sucker bunch.
Is it sucker, or are we just nice people?
Yeah, I've had ETH people say, like, "Is this real? Are you guys literally this nice? Like, is this real? Like, are you guys trying to just suck us in? And then you're gonna, you know, do what ETH people do? No, we're not like that, and it's true. And like, you know, it is what it is. Like we the three of us been here since Beluga Bay and Dave Sweenbank. We'll get on that Beluga Bay later, but we've been here for so long.
You talk about the goat.
And that we the goat of rugs, slow rug. Anyway, so we, but we have built this foundation of collaboration and being caring and sharing. And Matic Man and myself are very similar. Like, thank goodness for Ahmed, at least for me. Ahmed has saved us from making mistakes because of me. Like, there's been things I've wanted to do, running pops being one of them. I wanted to get in that game. I was like, hey, this is great for us. Like, look at all the hype. He's partnered with everyone. Like, even Matic Man trust him. And Ahmed was like, something ain't right about him, bro. And I was like, okay. No. He was like, yeah, I just don't know, but like, I just don't think we should, right? And it wasn't like Ahmed didn't know anything. He had no facts. He had nothing. He had a gut feeling, right? And his gut saved the Trogs from being exposed to this, right? And thank God for that. But it wasn't like Ahmed had any inside information. He had no idea like who the person was. He just knew from what, like, throwing money around in spaces, all of this name dropping. it just rubbed him wrong, right? And he was like, "No, we shouldn't do it." Like, and literally like months and months later, it comes out what's happened, and I'm like, Ahmed, bro, holy crap, you were right, bro. I was like, I sent him like all that stuff going down in the chat. I was like, hey, look, like, bro, holy crap, you were right. you were 100% right, man. And thank God for you, like, because if I was doing this on my own, I would have partnered with him because everyone else did. And that's something too, is that we need to be careful about thinking other people are doing the due diligence. We have to do
Yeah.
our own due diligence. We cannot just because somebody's partnered with Tony, just because somebody's partnered with um, Alpha, just because somebody's partnered with anybody right out here, these big names, just because they're partnered with anybody else, Space Gullies and EJ, that doesn't mean that those founders and those projects did their due diligence. Not doesn't mean that they did, right? So we definitely have to make sure that we're doing all the things that we can do to protect our communities. And on top of that, I think, like keep talking about running things as businesses, anything that you do with another project founder should be in writing, should be in a contract.
Yeah.
There should be a legal recourse if they don't provide the services they're supposed to provide, right? And so, or provide what they say they're going to provide, whether it be like giving away $20,000. Like you didn't have this in writing, you didn't have a contract. Like, and that's not to rub anybody the wrong way or say anything about somebody, but I think that's what I've learned. It's what I learned from all of this is like contract. No matter what you're doing with somebody, partnerships, all that, you have to have a contract in place.
Yeah, see, that's where I kind of want like I was talking about this on my space that I had, that dog space, but I kind of I want Polygon to not be so much like this kumbaya type thing, right? I want us to be edgy. I want us to be meaner, right? I want Matic Man to come on a space and mute somebody and say, "Shut up, nerd! Get out of here!"
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, I want Matic Man to be like,
that's Ahmed. Oh, dude, Ahmed literally muted Brandolph and Aztec yesterday. I was like, oh, snap! Get him!
What?
Really, dude?
Yeah. Ahmed was like, so many people have their hands up. You two stop talking.
That's what I want. I want us to be edgy. I want us to be more like like kind of HBO Polygon. You know what I mean? I'm tired of like this PBS Kids Polygon. I want Matic Man.
Polygon After Dark.
Yeah, I want Matic Man.
Nah, but it's everyone is just so scared on stepping on someone's toes. That's the unfortunate thing.
Jarek, let me say something to you. Yeah? Like the only people holding me back from being a certain way is Crypto Papa and my wife Shay. Like
Papa or me?
Sorry, no, and Crypto Papa is you and Manimal, all three of you, because he jumped on that as well, bro. He said because what we stand for is greater than getting in the dogfight with people, and calling people out about certain things. What we stand for is much greater than that, and what we're trying to build is much greater than that. But I tell you what, the day will come, brother. So when that center's up and running, yeah. I think I will be stepping away from Web3 because. Yeah.
We're gonna have to take your
No, don't step away. Get a troll account.
Manimal.
We'll take now.
Manimal will put me in Web3 because.
Oh no, I will want you in Web3. Bring it, bro. I've told you this. I've told you this from day one, bro. As soon as the center is built, we can both go off as much as we want. We can say whatever we want because we've completed and achieved our goal, and nobody can come and say we haven't done what we said we were going to do. And we've been transparent throughout our entire course of action through this whole entire project. We have done live event after live event. We have shown where the money goes. Like we have done everything we need to do so I'm sorry if once we are up and running and that center is built, like, and we're churning away, and I'm not saying that we're going to come out and be completely different people, but we're not going to muzzle ourselves as much.
Are you saying that you're going to be releasing the book, The Shit We Never Told You?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah. There you go, Ahmed. We'll just write a book, bro. We'll sell it as an NFT ebook. The shit we never told you, and we'll just put everyone in there, like all of them. Like this is what this person, this what this.
Jarek, you know what? I don't think it should change. I'll be honest with you. I think it's perfect how it is. I think let the Matic Man be the Matic Man. Let
Don't say
Manimal.
perfect, bro. Nothing's perfect.
No, for me, it's perfect, man. Right now, for me, it's perfect. You know, I can be that jerk in spaces when I need to be a jerk. I like Matic Man being the welcome person. You need someone who's welcoming. I think we balance each other out. You got Manimal who would just go for days, bro. Like you don't shut him up, bro. He talks like 2 hours. And then you got Matic Man who just comes with his words of wisdom and he's, you know, just the positive message. And you got me who's just being a comedian all the time in spaces and messing around. But in IRL, I have to be. The reason I do that, by the way, is because I have to be serious in IRL all the time. So when I get in these spaces, man, I want to just let loose, man. Like I don't want to be responsible. I just want to be the Joker. I miss being the Joker in school, man. Like just clowning around, like
Class clown Ahmed.
yeah, bro. Now I have to be the senior leadership and be responsible and be like, don't do that, kids.
What's wrong with you?
You have to be that grown up. And when I see spaces, I want to be like, Manimal, you jerk off.
Ding, 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 ding. But I would like a edgier Matic Man. I think that'd be so fucking cool. Like, you know, to be like, hey man, all you nerds, why don't you shut up and let me talk and, you know, just kick people and whatnot. But, you know, hey, maybe he'll do that for me one day. Maybe I'll get what I want one day and he'll just, you know, be cussing people out and, you know, calling people
right.
the C word and whatnot, and like, you know, just being like real like male chauvinistic, you know. I would want that.
Holy crap!
Yeah, wouldn't
you never know. That might be because you know they've got the second mint coming out.
Oh, that's right.
He's
right.
Oh, the Legion.
Legion. That can be the other side of Legion coming out.
Oh, that's right. That could be. He could be
his alter ego.
His alter ego.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have to ping him in this with a timestamp so that he gets the idea, right?
Yeah. Like he could just be like the evil Matic Man, and he could have like a 5 o'clock shadow and like messy hair and like a shirt with a tie all messed up.
Yeah, you should have an alt account that's one of the characters from Legion.
Yeah,
and he should come in, run spaces, and be completely opposite of himself. That would be so cool. That would be marketing. That would be a nice little marketing tactic, I think, for him as well. We'll have to pitch this to him and see if he runs with it.
Yeah,
I highly doubt it.
You can send the bill to the Troglodyte Society for the marketing campaign.
Exactly. Yeah. Whatever you're. Yeah. Just send us 35% of mint funds from Legion Matic Man. Don't worry about it. We got you on the marketing.
I love the fact. So Matic Man, when you watch this later on today, evil Matic Man should definitely be on the table. You know, and kind of like, you know, speaking of, you know, some other things that's happened too, right? We had our friend, our buddy, right? Authority No kind of post and kind of go after a big kind of player kind of in the space, right? And kind of say like, hey, these things didn't look right? Of course, we're talking about Tekio, right? One of the recipients of the creator fund for Magic Eden, right? And everyone seemed to have like an issue with kind of Tekio, right? And I'm pretty sure all of you have seen that thread, right? And how everything was just kind of laid out, right? Things were just created. The site didn't really work. You know, things just looked really weird. And like Cynthia, when you saw all that kind of like go down, right? What was your kind of take on all that? Were you kind of just like, oh man, like they should Magic, and you know, I don't want to throw any shade at Nil and Johnny or anything like that. I love those guys, right? But these were kind of easy things that were picked off. And do you think those should have been caught earlier, or what's kind of your take on kind of all that?
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? It's very easy for us to see these things once it's happened. When we're in it, because keep in mind, all of us are living in echo chambers right now. We're living in hype chambers where everyone is trying to impress each other. Everyone is trying to make sure that everyone trusts each other. So some of these things just slip through. It's so easy. And that's why we keep on getting rugged as well. And we have to be forgiving for ourselves. But yeah, obviously everyone expects a company to have a little bit better checks. But again, these things happen, and they've proven that they're just human, unfortunately. Whether we like it or not, it's gonna happen to every company. Like, how many rugs has OpenSea promoted?
True. So many.
If we're gonna go down that rabbit hole and hold people accountable, like it's
hippos, bro.
Yeah.
You have a point, Cynthia, on that. So you're basically saying that like kind of give them a kind of a break though. But like, do you kind of see like where people are like, I guess some people who didn't get the creator fund or kind of like, hey man, this is why you guys should have, you guys should have just looked into this a lot better. And what about us? Like, what was kind of? I know you kind of seen that kind of being kind of thrown around,
Yeah,
right? Like, what's kind of? Do you like say, hey man, kind of cut them a break, or like, or do you kind of see where they're kind of coming from?
I see where they're coming from. I think a lot of people fail to understand that Magic Eden is technically a Web2 company.
Mhm.
They operate on Web3. They sell Web3 assets, but they are a Web2 company. They have all the legal things that they have to go through. They can't operate as fast as Web3 moves. And you got to keep in mind, every single day, there's like 20 potentially big projects that are coming out on the blockchain. It's impossible for them to keep track of everything. It's impossible for us to keep track of everything, and we technically live and breathe this. We don't have to like go through red tape and lawyers and talk to people to approve statements that we're gonna make. It's difficult. I I you gotta be understanding as a person that is in this space that some companies just aren't as committed. Like even Ahmed and I, we used to have a bit of a potential business thing, but because I was moving as a Web2 company, he as a Web3 company, we ended up not being able to work together because we were too slow to act for his company.
Yeah.
So there's too many aspects in this that people are forgetting. It's very easy to call things out when they are out in the open already.
Yeah. No. It's I see that point of it, and Ahmed, like when you saw kind of like that post kind of go down, right, and then you saw people, of course, because like I don't know if you've applied for the grant or not, right, but you saw people that had applied, right, kind of like just sort of like basically just sort of like, oh man, like this is crazy, right? This is like I can't believe this, like and it was basically the people that weren't selected, right, and
Mhm.
kind of all that kind of going on, and then of course the authority null thing and everything like that, kind of all balled into one. Like, what was kind of your take on all this kind of unfolding, and like, do you have any kind of comments about the situation?
Yeah, of course I do. First of all, Neil's our boy, man. We came up with Neil.
Yeah,
First and foremost, and he's got a good heart.
great guy.
And I know Johnny's got a good heart as well.
Same here.
My whole thing about the whole thing, I thought people, bro, I was shocked. I was like, people are entitled. People are so entitled, bro. How can you tell a company what they can do with their money?
Hmm.
That was my first thought. Was like, so people are angry because the company decided to invest in these people, whilst there's still a lot of money in
Yeah.
the pot that you can still apply for. I was confused. To me, I was just like, huh? This doesn't make any sense. Because I'm like, wait, you can still apply. Like, no one's stopping you from applying. There's still more round. This is the first round. Wait, what? You want them to have 50 to 100 projects in the first round? Like, I don't understand. What's going on here? They told you this is the first round of many. This is just the first projects. There's still other projects to come. You can apply. So I was just like, I felt like people were just entitled. Of course we applied. I'm not going to go into details about
Yeah.
our
You know,
application, but we applied. We'll wait to see what's going to happen. Just like everyone else, we'll wait to see what's going to happen. There's other rounds. There's other opportunities. So I don't understand why people. To me, I didn't get it. Like, because damn, the entitlement. You're gonna tell me who I can fund and what project I can fund and how I can fund them and how that person's I'm better than that person and this, that, and the other. I was just like, wow. Okay.
the
Cool.
craziness.
But at the end of the day, like Cynthia was saying, those guys, they got a lot of stuff to do, and there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that we don't know about. It is what it is. But the only thing I'll say is just be patient, and apply for other funds. You got the Polygon one now. You got the Magic Eden one, and I'm sure there's going to be more down the road. Just apply for funds, man. But what people have to remember, and this is very important, how you conduct yourself publicly can affect how people see you and your business. So be very mindful. How you conduct yourself is how people see you. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. And Manimal, of course, I know for a fact, of course, you saw all that kind of like breakdown and everything like that. You know, did you kind of have any kind of opinion on one, of course, Authority Knowles kind of like layout of what kind of went on with, Tekio and whatnot? There's still a lot we don't know. And of course, the people that didn't get, the fund were saying like this, you should have looked into Tekio a lot more. I mean, Authority Knoll, basically all the stuff he did was super easy. Like, why couldn't you guys do that same due diligence? What's your kind of take on all that?
Just hold on, before Manimal answer, Neil actually came into space yesterday and actually said, I think he explained that they're not even part of that process.
Yeah.
They don't even deal with that process of things. So when they have to go through the projects, and they don't even deal with that part of the things. Like, so I think that should be a statement.
Yeah.
Well, here, yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Is like so, but I'll get to that part of it. But Authority Knowles' post, I love the satire behind his post. By the way, let's just talk about the actual like wording and the satire of his post. It was like reading an Onion article. I thought it was amazing, put together very well. It made me laugh while I was reading it. But yeah, once again, I mean, super quick research. The phone numbers don't work, site's not working. This is like what you're like. This is your whole reason that you're part of, like why you should be running another project. Like it is what it is, right? That and it was super fast, right? I never did it, but I also wasn't really looking to get into Tekio in the first place, personally, from an investor standpoint on my end. So I didn't do the research on Tekio because I really didn't care. And that might just because I like to fade generational wealth. Who knows, right? Maybe Tekio was going to be the greatest NFT project of all time, but I personally just didn't want to get involved with it. But the fact of the matter is that stuff should be allowed to be put out into our universe. We should be able to see these things when people do the research. I think the post was done well. I don't think it was very negative per se. Like I don't think that it was like wasn't taking like it wasn't like name calling or taking shots, right? It was literally factual information that he found, right? And so that to me, put that out there all day long. No personal attacks. It wasn't like a personal attack on any individual. It was just like, hey, this doesn't look right. And so I think the post itself was very good. And I do think that I Magic Eden is a company of multiple people. There are two front facing people on the Polygon side that we know, right? And that's Johnny and Big Nil. I know Big Nil. I've known Big Nil for a very, very long time, and I love him to death. And I think he's an amazing individual. Johnny as well. Known Johnny for a while as well out here in this ecosystem. And I think they, like Ahmed said, they both have really good hearts. They really want the best for this ecosystem. Now, were there mistakes made? 100%. I hope they own up to it. And I hope that the mistake, like Magic Eden is a company, not Johnny and Big Nil, but I hope that the Magic Eden as a company owns up to their mistakes. And that they look at it and they realize that yes, we could have done better, and so we are going to do better. But that being said, I have no earthly idea how Magic Eden runs. I don't know who's going over all these applications. I know one other person is not Johnny and Big Nil who goes over applications. We won't talk about him today. But I don't know about like all the other legal and all of that stuff. Like Cynthia was saying, like I have no earthly idea how to run a Web2 company when it comes to this legal aspect of things and what they can and can't do and what they can and can't say and certain things like that, right? They don't want to be sued. They don't want legal action taken against them, and things of that nature. So it's a fine line. And like Cynthia said, it's a Web2 business operating in the Web3 space, but things in Web3 are so fast and so rapid that it's hard for a Web2 company to keep up when they have to make sure they're dotting their I's, crossing their T's, right? Mm-hmm. And so, with people coming at, like, granted, I personally think the optics were screwed up on this first round. 100%. Every one of your advisors, which we all know, I knew this, by the way, the advisors had no role in picking projects whatsoever. They were advisors to advise the projects that were picked, right? Mm-hmm. I knew that from the get. So I think the initial optics on that was fine. And personally for me, I understood, like reading through the site and the applications and all that, I understood that these advisors were literally going to be advisors for the project. I knew they had no say in who was getting picked for the project. However, from an outsider looking in, once it's announced and released and you see like, oh, there's literally, 4 people in here that are getting money that are also advisors. I can see how from an outsider's point looking in, that's a bad optic play. Right? It is. It's bad optics. It is what it is. But once again, they're learning. This is the first time they've done anything.
Yeah.
And it's a grand scale thing they're doing. They're trying to put $1 million into this ecosystem, guys. Like, if you're out here poor pitting me, crying that you didn't get it, that's on you, man. That's how you want to be, and that's how you want to act. Thanks for showing me who you are, because I don't want to be involved with you at that point. Because you're being a pity party person, and I don't like pity
Yeah.
party people. Like Ahmed said, like we applied for this. We've had meetings. It is what it is. But like what? Like, we're not going to sit here and cry about it because Tony and the Chads and these artists, got it. It is even Tekio, whatever. I didn't give a crap. I really didn't care. Once again, I wasn't going to invest in Tekio, so I really didn't care. But at the same time, I see from an outsider's perspective how this looks bad optically as a company, right? So how do they overcome it? In my opinion, you admit your mistakes, and then you just grow from it, and you learn, and you do better. I mean, that's what we're all trying to do out here. We're all navigating a space that's never been navigated. This is uncharted waters, right? And these are things that, like, Magic Eden is in my opinion a great company, and it's learning just like we are every day. It's a whole group of people. It's not just Johnny and Big Nil over there running Magic Eden. And it's not just Johnny and Big Nil picking these projects either. They're not the ones that are doing all this research either. Big Nil had a very light role. I don't know how big. I mean, this was obviously Johnny's baby. I don't know how big Johnny's role is in deciding who gets to get in, right? But for Big Nil, he's only been there 5 months, guys. It's like, he's not over here making end all be all decisions on these higher up things. There are people in pay grades, higher levels in these companies that are making decisions, right? So I hope as a whole that they come out of this stronger, better, learn from their mistakes, admit their mistakes, and learn from their mistakes, and continue to move forward. And that's the company I'm speaking of. Company as a whole, like the entire company entity, not the two individuals that we see that are front facing, that are literally trying to push this ecosystem to the forefront. They're really trying to do what they can do to make us bigger and better. We are not Solana even. We're not ETH by a stretch of anything. We are so small still, with so much low liquidity. We need programs like this. We need initiatives. We need grants. We need things to come into this ecosystem to bring liquidity, right? We need ETH whales to come in and be like, oh wow, this is cheap. Let me buy a bunch of projects over here, right? Let me try to work with some of these projects over here because I'm coming over into the Polygon ecosystem, and let's see what synergies I can make. And that's what we need in this space.
I just want to add though.
Innovation.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Do they need to set out an apology? Like, what company does that? Is this a Web3 mentality, or is this just us in general wanting to,
That's a good question.
Well, I mean, PR. I mean, I see people make PR statements all the time when something goes wrong, right? Like companies,
because they
like
technically didn't launch anything.
I mean, that's true. I mean, I guess that's true. I mean, I guess yes. I guess I could say that this is more of a Web3 thing, but I like it.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm not disagreeing with you.
And I'm not necessarily saying like an apology. And I don't know if I necessarily think it's an apology, but it's a hey, we effed up and we're gonna be better. Like that's like literally they could literally put a statement out that said, we fucked up and we did better. We're gonna do better, and I'd be happy, right? You know what I mean? Like, and then they don't even have to say that. Maybe they didn't F up. Maybe we're all wrong. I don't really know. Like I said, I didn't dive in deep. But I would hope that they do due diligence, right? And I think they do. I honestly do think that they do due diligence. But like you said, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough situation to be in, like because they are, like you said, they're a Web 2 company, but they are working in the Web 3 space. So
because I mean, it also opens like the floodgates for having to apologize for every unfortunate little thing that happens. That's what I'm thinking. And a lot of companies just have to make sure that they cover themselves. Like, imagine every time, I don't know, OpenSea accidentally had a compromised wallet act on their behalf. like there's, I think we're all idealistic people, but we also have to understand that the world doesn't necessarily operate on our morals.
Yeah, Joe,
very good point.
The key point there that Manimal touched on, this is something new. This is something that's never been tried before. There's going to be mistakes. This ain't going to be the only mistakes. There's going to be other mistakes. I think from what I've heard from when Johnny came into space and spoke about this, is he had to fight for this. First of all, he had to go to the execs, all the big wigs, and fight for us for this. And by us, I mean the ecosystem, to go and pitch this idea first and foremost, to say, by the way, throw us $1 million over here and let's support this. That's not a small thing for a company to come out and do. That's huge. What company is going to just throw $1 million ecosystem to try and grow that ecosystem? Will they benefit from it? Maybe. It's a risk. It's a gamble at the end of the day. But he went and fought for the community to get this, first of all. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And to the point where, like I said, they're clearly learning from this, because they then came back in that space and they've made an announcement recently to say that actually, first of all, the grant was only available, or the funds was only available for projects who were launching, new launch. They're now changing that optics to actually existing projects also now who are in the ecosystem, who've already launched, can also apply for this, because the application is still open. So to me, that's them learning and growing from that, and taking initiative to move forward and support the ecosystem to grow. So I just think people just need to realize there's going to be mistakes, man. Bloody hell, like, it's never been done. Like,
Yeah.
so there's going to
100%. Like there's going to be so many mistakes that are like, we guys, like, we're all human beings, right? We're all human beings. We all make mistakes. Mistakes happen. Companies make mistakes every day, all day long. Like, and like Cynthia said, yeah, this could open the floodgates of like having to apologize for every little thing. But at the same time, it's what I mean. No, like, I mean, I can see like how, from a PR perspective, you want to at least address the situation. Like, you don't want to just like not say anything, because then that just looks like you just don't want to talk about it, right? So, I mean, I do think that there needs to be, of some sort of something, right? Just to, whether that's just to appease the community or not. I mean, I still think from a PR standpoint, it needs to be done. However, we as a group, as an ecosystem, as a community, we have to realize, like, individuals are running companies. Individuals make mistakes every day. There are mistakes that are going to be happening constantly. Like, I mean, I make mistakes out here every single day in my life, right? We all make mistakes, guys. It's like, to take off the pointing fingers and like stop, like, just trying to call out and literally like going after individuals in this manner, like being being nasty to people and like calling, like, name calling and all these things like that. Like, what are we? Are we in third grade? Like, are we like little kids running around here, on recess calling people doo-doo heads and stuff? Like, come on, like, obviously, like, I want to keep the language on here a little less. I don't want to get Jarek demonetized, but you know what I'm saying? Though, it's like, what are we doing out here? Like, let's keep the personal attacks on the side. Let's look at facts, and that's it. And yeah, if you want to be upset, you're allowed to air your opinions, whatever. But if you're personally attacking individuals, that's an issue, and that's a problem for me personally. I don't want to. I'm not going to associate with someone who's going to personally attack an individual for a mistake, or what you view as a mistake that might not even been their mistake. Who knows the ladder in the company and who's all? It's like I said, we have two front facing people that literally legitimately care about this ecosystem and want to see us grow and build and expand and become a chain where people want to be and build innovation. And we have two of the greatest people that we could have in Johnny and Big Yum. And so personally attacking those two people for me is a no-go. Like, whatever, do what you want, get out of my timeline, because I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to talk with you. If you're going to personally attack individuals, like, that's not the way to do it whatsoever. You can have an opinion about how the business handled something. That's fine. But to personally attack the two individuals that are doing the most for us out here in this ecosystem, that's a problem that I have. That's an issue. And I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah,
It's great for engagement, though.
Yeah. I mean,
Right, well,
I'm an engagement farm.
You got an engagement farm, right?
Yeah, I am going to engagement farm like crazy. And I'm gonna edit this to make it look like you guys are bashing Matic Eden.
Oh my god!
Oh gosh, that's fine.
No, I'm kidding. So
please don't do that.
So, like, before, like, we kind of, like, before the next, we'll talk about other projects, right, in the next episode, right? But so as we kind of close this one right here, right, and I'm gonna start off with Ahmed. Ahmed, like, what are some of the red flags? Or someone watching this, right, and like, what are some red flags? Because, like, everybody kind of, like, in these recent kind of rugs kind of check the boxes in a weird way. I mean, you had Brozos, right? I mean, Brozos not a rug or anything like that, but Brozos kind of failed. They failed, right? They kind of checked the boxes, right? They were heavily marketed, right? They were out there, right? There were all these things, right? And to be honest, I should have seen some of the signs, but the signs were there, right? And there were some like little bit of clues, like, hey, something's not right here, right? But how does somebody just protect themselves, Ahmed? Like, how does somebody just see all these red flags and be like, you know what? I don't like this. What can you give the audience?
I think it depends on the type of project it is, and it depends on the registration. For example, if it's a forget NFT, for example, for us or what we're trying to do, I think first and foremost you have to make sure that they're doxed, they're registered. And by the way, I mean the whole team. I don't just mean just the founder. I mean the whole, including the one that always takes the money, the dev, like every single person. That's just one point of view. Make sure their company registration is legit. Make sure their telephone numbers and make sure everything works. Make sure the founder's reachable, the team's reachable, not just in the socials, because obviously if you're a registered company, you should have some telephone numbers and some addresses and stuff like that. The other thing I'll look out for is if someone comes in the space throwing cash. Look out for that, because I'm that why guy, and I'm always going to be that why. Why are you doing that? Why? There's always a reason why people do things. You're either trying to buy your way into the ecosystem to do something that's not good, because you're trying to buy your way to trust, and that's never not good. You can't do that. You're trying to skip the line. People who have been here hard grafting. Another thing for me is when people are trying to align themselves with people who have built trust in the community. And that's one thing people never look at. If you've noticed, when people come in, they try to look for all the people who have gained and built that trust and been here grinding, and then they try to partner up with them. My question to them is always, why are you trying to partner with us? What is it about us that you like? Or what is it about us that you feel you want to partner with? Because we're not looking for collabs. We're looking for long-term partnerships, not just, here's my white mint or white list or whatever, come mint. No, what more can you offer our community? For example, what we're offering people is not just a white list. We're actually offering you a membership pass that you can reward your community to come over for all-inclusive stay, to always be involved in our project, the long term of our project. That's how you build communities, by working together, not just saying, come get your community to come in.
Whitelist, guys.
Like, okay.
Win OG.
Win OG. Wag me, bro. Wag me.
Yeah. There's so many red flags, brother. There's so many. Like, I can go on.
Well, don't take them all, Ahmed, because I don't want you to.
But the key ones for me is people who come in flashing cash, saying they can do everything, and they've not achieved nothing yet. And yeah, for me, I've always been one for doxing. But again, dox is not the be and end all. But it's just one of the boxes that I tick. And again, be that why guy. Always ask questions why. Don't fall for hype. And just because they say they partner up with certain people, to me, and Manimal knows this, that means nothing to me. You can be partner up with Elon Musk. Okay, that's nice. I don't know what type of partnership you've got with that person. I don't know anything about you. So I need to get to know you as a founder and as your team till I trust you. And just because they're doing it, don't mean I'm going to do it. And we've done that a lot. Like me and Manimal, there's so many times people come to us and I'm like, nah, I'm good, bro. I don't know you.
Yeah.
So until I get to know you and I invite you, come to the community hangout. Every time, if you go through our Discord, every time people come to the community hangout. Come get to know you. Come vibe with us. Come chill with us. Let's get to know you. You get to know us. It's a two-way street. But that's what I look out for. I look out for trustworthy people. People who are out here. People who are putting in that grind and supporting others. So, yeah. But there's a lot. I just don't want to give out my secrets so people don't start.
Yeah, no. I 100%. Yeah, no, 100% agree with that. That actually will be the topic of the next show. To dox or not, is it important? But Cynthia, well, what do you kind of have on this? Like, I know because you like to buy, like, I guess you love rugs, right, and whatnot. But like,
Oh yeah, they excite me.
But like, what is something that you could like say that can kind of protect somebody that's new, kind of coming in the ecosystem, and it's just like this new, wide-eyed, person. How would you protect them? How quick could you? Some of the things you could say that could actually like save them the heartache.
I think the best thing we have right now is the analytics on OpenSea. Always check who the top holders are. The top like 5 people holding, I think, are really important because they can make or break a project. If they decide to sell out for whatever reason, they can literally take you completely down. So if it is a project that's on a decent floor at the moment, just be careful.
Yeah, I mean that's actually, I've never heard someone say that. That's actually 100% true right there. That, actually going deeper and checking out the holder and everything like that. And CryptoManimal, do you have anything to kind of say on this too as well? Is there something that you could say to somebody that's like, we are going to have new people coming in? What would you say to those new people that come to you like, hey, what should I look for, or look or not
Yeah,
look
I
for?
think I think someone that comes on like a brand, a business that comes onto the scene, and you go into their socials, their discords, and if you're seeing 75,000 people following a Twitter account, I guarantee you there's not 75,000 of us in Polygon right now. There's not 75,000 of us actively trading NFTs. If you go into a Discord and they've got 1,300 fire emojis on their last announcement post, that to me is probably a big red flag. Because we all know we're all in a bunch of discords, and sorry, there's not that much going on in discords right now, guys. It's true, it's a ghost town out here, right? And literally, if you're going to somebody, like if a new project pops into the space, say, yeah, I'm brand new in the Polygon space. We got got this manga coming with our NFT. We're gonna have a digital we're gonna have a animated series, this, that, whatever it is, like, right? We're high in fashion. Look at us over here, right? So, and then you go to their social and you go to their Twitter, and they already are in the 50 to 75,000 range. And Ahmed and I have been here with the Trogs, for what 2+ years, and we're at 22,000 followers on the on the X. That's probably a sign that their Twitter was created 5 days ago. That's botted. 100% that's botted. Like, there's no way around that. It's botted, right? So that would be a red flag for me. So if you're coming in new, some noobs coming in and they're like, hey, like, how do I know what's a good project? Like, well, if you go to their socials and they have that many followers, it's botted. They're running off of a hype train. It's probably not something you want to get involved in my opinion. That's what I look at for 100%. And I learned that the hard way over on ETH during the bull. I was like, ooh, look at that. They got 50,000 followers, So
Wow.
anyway,
Wowza!
yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh, their Discord's on fire. Look at
Yeah,
all these chats.
it's
The chat's
fantastic.
rolling. The chat
Yeah,
goes brr, right? So,
keeping
that's a
score
good
with.
red flag for me. And then, like I said earlier, I really want to see founders. That's just me. That's just me being me. But I want to see a founder out there getting to know the communities as a whole, interacting with other founders, collabing, making actual partnerships. Like we said too, over here at the Trogs, like actual long-term partnerships that benefit both sides, things of that nature. I don't have an issue also doing I'm all for doing some whitelist collabs here and there, whatever. That's fine. But if I'm gonna do a full-on like partnership, I want it to be beneficial for both, right? Um, but yeah, I would say honestly, it's the accounts for me. That's the biggest one. Look at socials. Look at that should be the first thing you do, right? And then on top of that, like we said, if you're going to invest in something, do 5-10 minutes of research, right? Go to all their links. Go to where they're supposedly, what they've done before. If they're coming from another chain, and they're telling us that, like, oh, hey, by the way, we were over on, well, let's just use Brozos, right? We were on Near Protocol, and now we're coming over here. Well, what happened with the project on Near? Is it still active? Let me go find out. Is there socials that I
Hmm.
can find? Is the community active? Are they expanding that community, or are they actually just coming and starting a brand new one, right? What are they doing over here? And so, hindsight's always 2020, right? Like, but if someone's coming in and saying like, oh, hey, we built on Chronos, hey, we've built on Near, we've built on Ethereum, we've built over here. We go back and look at those projects, those socials, those, like, are they still active? Is the discourse, are they just expanding themselves, or are they completely starting from scratch to come take more liquidity, just jumping to the next to get as much liquidity as they possibly can get, just to pull the rug out from under everybody, like they did over there, you know? And a lot of times, obviously, smart scammers aren't going to do that. They're not going to tell you that they were building over there. They're probably going to use pseudonyms and change things around. So it could get even more difficult to figure that out, right? But I do think that if someone's coming in and saying that, we need to check on those communities. Are they active? Are they what are their plans? What have they told their other people? Have they even told that project that they're thinking of expanding over to Polygon or whatever else chain we're looking at here, Solana, wherever, you know, rugs happen all over the place. But yeah, that would be me. That would be my biggest red flags for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with all those guys, and well, thank you all for kind of coming on the show. This has been great, almost a 2-hour jam-packed episode. So this is going to be great, but we're also going to be
Wild.
trying to make this a either weekly or bi-weekly kind of episode where we all kind of come meet up and talk about certain things. Of course, the next kind of some of the next topics, of course, the docs or not, is that important to everybody? But guys, we'll go ahead and let all y'all go. I know Cynthia's probably falling asleep from that food coma, and I will. Everybody follow
Ahmed
everybody
hasn't
here.
eaten yet.
Ahmed hasn't eaten
Oh,
yet.
shame.
I need to go eat.
Yeah, so definitely everybody follow everybody here on X here, CryptoManimal, Ahmed, Troglodyte, Cynthia. Follow all of us guys. And if you like content like this, please like, comment, share, subscribe, download, follow all of us on X, and I will see you guys around on the next one. Take care.
Peace.
That was